sit down. Yeah. Okay. So this piece, this piece, if you read this, tells you that I started this painting um, around the time of my birthday last year, last August. And it basically, before all the scribbles and doodles and everything, says, "Happy birthday to me. What a ride is at 75." And since I'm still in my 75th year, a friend of mine said to me, "If it's going to be in the show, why don't you have people sign it?" So this is, I just showed my friend Debbie what it looked like before. So it's super fun. I'm really, really happy. When I was here Saturday night, somebody's like, I said, "Oh, you dripped some yellow." He goes, "It really needs some yellow." And I walked in today and saw this yellow. So that's that. And this is a 24 by 20, well, not 24, 24 diameter. And most of my work is on wood panels this year. And what can I tell you? I never give up. I shouldn't say never, but there's layers upon layers and layers in my work. And then I get really frustrated and I go to the garage and get the sander. And sometimes the sander is what really brings out the painting. Like Splat in the window, that was like one of the most frustrating pieces until I took the sander to it and I brought it back in the house and I went, there it is. So these little guys on wood panels also, just fun. Again, everything presents itself as a problem for me in that, I don't say problem, a situation of where do I go from here? Oh, where's the sander? And let's see. So there's lots of stories behind all of them, Mark. Why don't you prompt me?
I love the title, What a Ride. I know we have a birthday theme. If you could elaborate on the title of your show.
Well, I just feel like I've had a very interesting life, and I'm happy to be alive at 75, and so it's been quite a ride.
Which the subtext of ... exclamation point, that says a lot, right?
Right,
There's
right, right. Yeah, it's all, and actually, it was Johnny Pilgrim Saturday night, and we were talking over there, and I could see he was struggling to say something to me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm all over the place. And he was, that's exactly what I was going to say. So I'm all over the place. You know, I can get really detailed and then not so much. There's a funny story behind this one. Did you hear this one?
You told me, but let's share with the group.
Okay. So when I was painting this piece, these critters presented themselves. And I'm like, I don't want to be critters. I don't want creatures. Because I have a tendency for them to show up. And so I sent it to my nephew. And he's a man of few words. And he says, "Oh, dinosaurs." And I'm like, oh, shit. So I started turning it around and working on it this way. And I sent it back to him and he goes, "Oh, lounging dinosaurs." So the title of this piece is The Loungers. And then there's a few pieces, that glamping piece over there, I work on bamboo paper, which I love. This is also bamboo paper, and it's a very forgiving substrate. The paper holds up against just about anything you can do to it. And if you look closely, it almost begins to look and feel like leather. And because there's so much layering that's going on. And then somebody Saturday night asked me, "So tell me about the red pieces. What was your inspiration for the red pieces?" And I said, I needed a pop of color. So I painted some red pieces, and I did the 3 pieces together when I was painting them. And another question from you.
Let's get a group.
Anybody have a question? Okay. then don't.
How did the elephant appear?
Well, that was a similar thing that as I was painting this piece, again, I get crazy and then these critters appear and I saw the elephant and I went with it. You know, unlike, well, the dinosaurs, I was going with it. It was fun, but anyway, yeah. So he appeared and she appeared. Her name is Sweet Thing. And
Susan, I'm wondering, you kind of just answered it. What's the progression? Is it color first, then the shape, then the feeling, or in a different direction?
so thank you for the question. So there's a thing called underpainting, okay? And when I was doing a lot of collage work, I found myself doing underpaintings. And then what I was doing is I was painting my own papers to then cut up and use for collage. So instead of using magazines or bought paper or stuff like that, I was painting my own. And a friend of mine who's also a painter said to me, he said, he challenged me and he said, I want you to put your collage stuff, he said it differently. I want you to put your collage stuff away and I want you to just paint. He said, you're a painter. I want you to paint. And I took on the challenge. And so that's all I've been doing for the last 2 years. But in that same conversation that I had with him, I said, well, what am I going to do with all of these underpaintings? And I had them lined up on my sofa for him to look at. And I said to him, okay, let me ask you this question. When does an underpainting cease to become an underpainting and become a painting unto itself? And he said, when you say so, right? So that gave me this sense of, and when we go over here, I'll tell you about these over here too. So it's underpainting, and then what happens, what shows up? So it's the same thing with loungers. You know, the critters showed up. It wasn't intentional to paint them that way.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with the elephant too. And then these two pieces, what can I say? They're fun. I like them. Questions? So here's what, if we're going to stay on the underpainting, this was, okay, let's look at this first, okay? So as you can see, I love angles, and when I was doing collage work, I would do the underpainting that it was like you were in a room or you had a table, okay? And so that's what kind of started to happen here, okay? This is a later piece. But I was doing this, I don't remember if the blue one or the purple one came first, but it was meant to be an underpainting for possibly a vase of flowers, okay? So I wanted to get the underpainting spot on. So when I finished this, I went, oh, that's kind of interesting. I'm gonna do another one, right? And I measured exactly so that they would go together. And my nephew, Shane's brother, right? I said, so he came over and I said, so what do you think? And he goes, I love them. I love what's not there. Yeah. So they became kind of interesting on their own about what's not there. Okay. You know, yeah, yeah. You could paint a little mouse in here or something, but it becomes like cliche. But this way it's, what is it? And I was really pleased when I saw how this crazy one was balanced out by those guys. So I guess we've reached the end.
Yeah, we did the time frame. I love what's not there because sometimes I'm like, why am I so engaged in looking at a vase or again like a room? You know, it's something very obvious, but that's one reason is there's maybe
what's not there.
Life,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, everybody.
That's good. That's conclude.